Mirrors are meant to show the reflection of oneself. But what if they were a window into something darker? An entryway for a mysterious murder that helps to inspire one of the greatest horror icons of all time. Avoid the mirror or be my victim. How's it going, everyone? Rodriguez here, and today we discuss the horrific murder that went on to inspire the movie Candyman. If you've never seen it, then you need to go check it out. And if you have seen it, then you'll know the comparisons between this and the movie. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So Ruthie Mae McCoy was a 52-year-old woman who lived on the 11th floor of the Grace Abbott Homes. Grace Abbott Homes was located in the ABLA, a part of the Chicago Housing Authority projects, and was considered a very dangerous place to live due to many issues with elevators and stairwells, drug addicts, and common crimes. Now, around 8:45 p.m. on the evening of April 22nd, 1987, McCoy called 911 stating that
they want to come through the bathroom.
A mysterious phone call, to say the least, and McCoy stated that they were tearing it down and threw the cabinet down. Now, after giving the dispatcher her address, police officers were sent to investigate a disturbance with a neighbor. Unfortunately, since this was not reported as breaking and entering, the officers did not make with great haste. At 9:02 p.m., a neighbor called 911 stating that there were gunshots coming from McCoy's apartment. At 9:04 p.m., another call from another neighbor was made stating that there were gunshots and hollering coming from McCoy's apartment. You gotta love the speed at which our police departments respond. I mean, if you get a call and the person seems in distress, maybe you should put a little urgency in your step, and that's all I'm saying. But still, that's not the worst part. Now, around 9:10 p.m., 4 police officers arrived at McCoy's apartment. They knocked, they announced themselves, but no answer. This, along with the many calls of possible danger in the apartment, should be a red flag, and you might want to get in there. But instead, they had the dispatcher call McCoy back to get more information. Surprise, surprise, there was no response. 2 officers went to the project office a block away and got the key to her apartment. The key doesn't fit. It doesn't fucking fit. How does it not fit, you guys? Come on. Now, the officers decided to question neighbors. The apartment next to McCoy's was vacant, and the other neighbors denied hearing or seeing anything. The only responses the officers received was that an elderly lady lived there, and she was always answering the door. Now, with no information to go on, they decided to call the project office for another key, but unfortunately, no such key existed. So after so many nopes to help them, the officers decided to nope out themselves, and at 9:48 p.m., they left the building, and that was that. Now, the next night, Deborah Lastly, a neighbor of McCoy's, called the police stating that McCoy always stopped by her apartment on her way out of the building every morning and when she got home in the afternoon. However, on this day, she hadn't stopped by at all, so she began to worry about seeing the police at McCoy's the previous night. About 6 police officers and 6 CHA security guards arrived at McCoy's apartment to conduct a wellness check. That's 12 people. Now, they knocked on the door, and what do you know? No answer came. The officers thought maybe breaking down the door, but the security guards said no. The guards argued that the tenant could sue for a damaged door, and the officers would have to get someone up to secure it. So the officers noped out and dipped. I guess they didn't want to deal with all that bullshit, which is bullshit in itself. Now, the next day, Lastly called the police again, restating her concerns. This is one hell of a neighbor. I hope we all have neighbors like Deborah Lastly who won't give up on you when the freaking cops will. So around 1 p.m., a project official arrived at McCoy's door with a carpenter who drilled through the lock. And as you could already guess, McCoy was found deceased. McCoy laid on her side in a pool of her own blood on the floor, one hand over her chest with one shoe on and the other off. There was a mess of papers and other belongings surrounding her body, and the scent of rotting flesh had begun to flood the apartment. She was shot 4 times, once in the left shoulder, once in the left thigh, once in the right abdomen, piercing the liver and exiting the left abdomen, and the final fatal bullet piercing through her upper right arm and into her chest, severing the pulmonary vein. The medical examiner stated that McCoy may not have died right away, but most likely had not survived long, and that she would most likely have died on the way to the hospital. So on April 24th, 1987 at 4:35 p.m., 2 days after the original phone call by McCoy herself, she was pronounced dead at Cook County Hospital. Now, murder in a CHA project is not uncommon. People were shot, stabbed, and beaten to death constantly. It was believed that McCoy most likely even knew her attackers. This having been not uncommon would not have been major newsworthy, except for one thing that made this murder stand out from the rest. The apartment door was not broken, and no other signs of forced entry were present, at least not the common signs, broken windows and all that. Now, as it turns out, detectives determined that the murderers entered her apartment through the medicine cabinet. That's right, straight through the wall. Upon further investigation, the murderers removed the medicine cabinet from the vacant apartment next door, broke through the wall, and smashed through McCoy's medicine cabinet. McCoy heard the intruders trying to break in and called 911 for help that never arrived. Now, the scary part is that these types of break-ins coming through the medicine cabinet have been occurring for about a year prior to McCoy's death. This, along with other crimes, made everyone so desensitized that there was no surprise or urgency. There was an investigation into the actions of the officers, but unfortunately they were found to have acted properly when they did not break the door down. Can you believe that? That's just crazy to me, to be honest. Now, as unfortunate as this story is, it would go on to inspire the 1992 horror movie Candyman, where Helen Lyle goes to investigate an incident where a woman named Ruthie Jean was killed. Ruthie Jean would call the police several times saying that she could hear someone trying to break through the walls. This part here is not a major spoiler in any kind of way, so if you get the chance, go check it out. But this is just to kind of show you guys the similarities between the movie and the real-life incident. Now, the police didn't believe her, and by the time they did go investigate, Ruthie Jean was found dead, and the legend of Candyman grew Helen's curiosity. If you haven't seen this movie, you really have to go check it out. I love it. Tony Todd did amazing. Rest in peace. Awesome, legendary actor. So what do you guys think? Should there have been more of a punishment for the officers that were on the scene? And does this scare you from going into your bathroom? You don't have to live in an apartment for someone to break through the walls. Although breaking in from the outside of your house would be more difficult due to the attention that it would draw. And have y'all seen the Candyman movie? If so, did you know about this story and how it would go on to inspire one of the scariest movies that scared kids and adults alike for over 20 years? I'm serious. I know grown-ass people who will not dare to say Candyman 5 times into the mirror. Let me know in the comments. So if you guys enjoyed this video, or if you like Candyman, then hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and make sure that that bell icon is active so that you stay up to date on all future content. You're not going to want to miss this next video. If you have any ideas for future videos, then leave them in the comments. I will definitely take a look at them. Thank you guys for joining me during the Moonlit Hour. My name is Rodriguez, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Take care.